Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I have another Ford Lightning computer, this time coming from Cayman Islands. This is, let me just see his name, Nicholas G from Cayman Islands. This is your computer. I'm going to open, well, I have his data here. I'm going to move it away because I have all his information in here. I can show you kind of like right there. So you can see, but it has his address, even though he's not in this country, but all right, so um, his concern is the vehicle. He was doing something on the coils. Let me just read in here. So I have this information that I erased his part of his email, so we don't see that. But you will be able to read. It says, "Hi. So what happened was on the passenger side back coil pack, the connector was loose. I went to check it, and my hand hit a wire for a capacitor that is mounted on the intake to the intake manifold. When that wire grounded, the truck shut off, found that the PCM fuse was blown. I replaced it, and then the transmission was not working properly. The engine starts but not running properly as well. When I scan the PCM, it shows like 10 codes. For the transmission, I replaced the solenoid pack and getting the same codes. So I really think it's the PCM. All right, so I do have the coil diagrams. All right, so in here we can see, let me just get this a little bigger. And sorry, I'm not using the screen capture, but trying to make this as easy as possible because I got a lot of work. So what we see here, we got two capacitors, kind of like an ignition transformer on both sides. So kind of like for four coils and four coils. And then they have the common power feed, which is coming to this 213B. So what he did, he was shorted this wire, and then the car is doing these faults. The only reason, oh sorry, the only thing is I'm not getting these faults in here. So I got the 23 B, which just to follow, try to this that wire that we were seeing here, right here, B, it goes into that fuse. Is most likely what it got burned. So I also can show you the locations of the capacitors. They are in there. Again, this is an old vehicle, so it's black and white, but yeah, we can see the U10 right here is that capacitor that is in there to filter noises and so they don't go back to the PCM. I have the computer connected. I have it connected to Autel. I'm using Autel, and I can see the EPC is very important for the transmission shifting. So far, it's reading an okay voltage. I don't have any faults for that. And we will see the revolutions per minute in a second. So in order to run this, I have to program the keys and parameter reset for my cluster, because this is my cluster here, and that's his computer. This is for you, Nicholas, so you can see that that is indeed your module. I have just opened it and have it connected to run it. So I have for this, I use the full probe. I cannot do a zoom. This is as big as it can get. But so if I don't put the ignition in here, I'm giving this signal 7, which is supposedly only for high RPMs. But if I run here 400 or 600 RPMs without the coils, I can see injection. So the computer and the pads are working good, and I can see the coil. I mean, sorry, the injectors working. But when I turn the ignition on, let me turn this off like this. I'm going to turn the ignition on. Immediately, the battery goes down to 10.5, which is, I mean, inside the battery, sorry, inside the module, I'm only getting 9.8 volts. So this is a red flag immediately because I'm getting something that it shouldn't be here. So something is drawing a lot of amperage. I'm going to disconnect the coil from the power source. Yeah, that's not changing anything. I got the coils just in here. So something is shorted inside the module because without the thing running, even though I hear something running. Battery, low battery. So as soon as I try to put any RPMs in here, this goes into, as you can see, It shuts down the computer. If I don't put this ignition on, look at the battery voltage, 13.9 volts. So something is definitely shorted in this module. Um, Not right. So we can see as soon as I turn that ignition, it goes into 10.6 and the module goes into like low voltage. As soon as I unplug or release that, it's going into 13.1. So something is definitely shorted in here. I cannot run the coils. I can only run the injectors this way. So as you can see, I got a visual right there and I can see the injectors running. I can even go high RPMs and we can see the injectors kind of like firing. Well, now I did a stop. Probably just too much RPMs with no coils, but we can see, hopefully you guys can see those green lines. Those are the injectors and those emulators. And the battery voltage stays okay as long as I don't touch that. As soon as I turn that ignition on, which is what it's supposed to be, it just goes nuts. So I have one computer in here for these vehicles that I always set up. So let me connect this in here and I'll be right back. I got my computer now connected. This is a different one. This is a newer one. This is an URB1 computer, and it's sealed with all the my warranty seals and everything. I lost communication with the scanner for obvious reasons. All right, so let me set this into low RPM. So everything is right now the same. The only thing is I have now learned the pad system, but we should be able to. Let me move this into 51, which is the one I usually use for low RPMs, because even though I have not learned the keys, I should see uh, it actually shows injector firing, but they're not really firing. But what I want to see is RPMs, and we can see the RPMs in there, nice and steady, and that is normal. If I turn the ignition on, we can see that the battery voltage stays in 13 point, right here, right? So 13.7, nothing changes. So what I can definitely, and I can see the coils firing. You see on this module, my module, the coils are firing. The injectors are not firing because I have not learned the keys. I can do that pretty quickly, and that's the nice thing about having the hotel. So let me get out of here, and I'm going to go. It's a lot of glare, so let me just do this in here. So let me go out to immobilizer because I was in diagnostics. So let me go out of here. Set up the immobilizer. All I need to do is parameter reset because the keys are learned into the cluster. So when you change the computer, you're supposed to do a parameter reset, and that should take care of it. So we're going to select 4 USA, and this is F series. Make sure I don't press the button. It could be either one because it's a bladed key. All right, I'm going to click on yes. Immo status scan. This is just going to do a really quickly read, and I don't need any of that, so I'm just going to go into immobilizer learning, PWM, and then do the parameter reset. Turn the key off, and then click on here, learning successful. All right, so we can then now get out of here again. And this is what I like about using this one for this, because it's pretty quickly. I can actually just go here and do it. Oh, no, I have to get out. It doesn't let me do anything until completely get out. All right, so now we can select again diagnostics. I got to go over to the Ford. In this case, I probably will be able to do auto ID. When you're adding IMO, since the complete card is not here, it will not read it properly. But in this case, it's not a problem because of trying to get this out of that glare. All right, that's my B number that I have set up for that computer that can be changed anytime. If you guys need a computer, that computer is for sale. And I'm gonna show that it's actually reading, working properly. And I have a full video for this computer, my computer working 100%. All right, so we're going to enter here. And we're going to first into the instrument cluster to make sure the ID of the computer is read, and it's not probably going to be there because we have not switched the ignition on and off. But either way, I just want to show you that. All right, so far everything is just reading the car. You know, this is just taking a little long because of the year of the car. Communications on this module is called SPC or SCP. I always miss those two last words or the position of them. All right, it is supercharger equipped. All right, let's go over to diagnosis, control unit, instrument cluster. And we're going to read the data. Trying to keep it as close as possible so you guys can see it. Sorry for the glare. All right, so we're going to scroll down. So we got two present. Pass anti-theft service module, PCM, and that's not a store. You see, it's not a store, but it's not a store. So all I need to do is now get a complete key out and power back on again one more time, and this should go into yes. Come on. Now I can see the pads. It's still blinking. Says numbers of keys. PCM, well, PCM ID is store. PCM verification, okay, nope. Let me do one more time, switch the key. I'm just, switching keys. Sometimes you need to put the other key. Oh, yes, I just did it, kind of like the relearn, the first key there, and now move it, ignition off for 3 seconds and put the other key, and now we have PCM verification okay. Everything is ready to go. All right, so this will be perfect. Now we can run this car, this setup. So let me go back to the PCM. Oops, too much. I want to go over to the PCM itself, erase codes. All right, the codes are being erased. Let's go over to live data. Trying to go away from that glare and the light that I have on the top. Trying to make too many things at the same time, right? So, but yeah, so I just want to show what a good computer should do, and also, how easy it is to do a parameter reset and key relearn on these cars with Hotel. Right, let me get to the engine RPMs, which should be somewhere in here, and read revolution per minute. And I'm going to search for voltage. So we're going to put the same thing. All right, so I want to see, what voltage we have in those, because I can use it as a, to compare. All right, let's show selected, and we're looking at the EPC 0.9 volts. So that is a big difference with compared to the other one. So we are in the signal 51. Yes, we are in there. I'm going to put around 500 RPMs, and now we should have coils and injectors, and we do. You see, we got coils. The coils are going to be this test lines that I have in here because these are, a pack of coils, and injectors are the green lights. So all is there, and is the battery voltage, as you can see, is 13.7 volts. So this is definitely a problem on that module. As you can see, this one is running good. The idle RPMs is good. I can then bring this down. I'm going to turn that terminal 15 off, and I'm going to switch that signal to signal 7, which is what I use for high RPMs above 1000. So I'm going to click in here, and then this should run. And now we got 1300 RPMs, and the battery voltage is staying nice and even. We can see that, and we can see the coils now almost on all the time because yes, we have 1300 RPMs and the injectors are all working there. We can see the RPMs and everything not that fly, so everything is working good on my computer 100%. I can definitely see the EPC changing and switching exactly how it's supposed to be, 0.9 to 11 volts, almost 12 volts. That's normal with the vehicle running, right? Because you're changing the pressure. When vehicle's not running, it should be around 0.9, even 1 volt. That is okay. But yeah, so something is definitely wrong with his computer. So I'm going to turn all this off and put his again one more time. All right, I did off camera the whole parameter set and everything again, so I'm going to do an automatic ID, so we will see now how is up. I have to read, right? We'll read his bin, and we can see it's 95350, so that should be okay. And let's go over to the instrument cluster. Well, actually, you know what? I think I already have everything done because I did it the correct way and the test light is off. So let's go over to F-150. Click yes. It's going to ask if it has a supercharge, which it does. And this is a 4 Lightning Harley-Davidson edition, 2002. With the ignition on and everything so far, it's just not a problem. But as soon as we try to run the computer with that ignition on, it drops the voltage completely. So yes, it is equipped with a supercharge. I'm just going to select the 4R70W transmission, not really important for what we're doing. All right, so actually, I don't want to do that. Yes, stop it. I'm sorry, guys, made a mistake. So control unit in here, PCM, and I'm going to select the same parameters that we had before. So I'm going to go over to the engine RPMs, and we can actually hit the zoom glass if you're using an hotel. You can use that zoom glass to find the parameters if you already know what parameters you and how they're named, because some manufacturer put engine RPMs and battery voltage and different and put like a ECM voltage or so, but we're going to do it for engine. Um, Engine revolutions per minute, and we're going to voltage these three, right? So we're going to select these three parameters the same as before and just show selected. All right, so I'm going to try to put the ignition on, and as soon as I put the ignition on, that thing goes down to 10.5. So something is shorted on this computer, and I can see the computer. The computer is trying to run. I hear some like RPMs or something. You see, as soon as I turn that ignition, let me get close to that. Look at that gauge, the upper left gauge, where it says tensión batería. That's in Spanish. As soon as I click in here, the battery voltage goes down to 10.5 in here. And look at in here. It says it is. We can graph this one, and it's showing something even though it's no revolutions per minute. So if I turn the ignition off, look at the battery voltage. Immediately goes up to over 13 volts. So something is definitely shorted in your module. All right, I think this is enough of a time to prove that we have a problem in this computer to reproduce his concern. Um, Let me see what I find, right? Because now I got everything married and together I can run this computer multiple times if I need to try to reproduce a concern. In this, I have the patch transceiver with two key learns, and one is my key and the other one is his that he sent. And you can see that this is a Harley-Davidson. Let me just put this my hand behind because otherwise the camera will not focus into that. Hopefully it's not blurry. But yeah, okay, so let me see what I found because of what I find in here because this is definitely not a normal repair for these modules. All right, so let me see if I can fix this one. If I find a problem, I will definitely show it to help others with the same problem. And then try to correct as quick as possible this and find the solution. All right, guys, thank you so much for visiting the channel. Don't forget to subscribe. See you next time. Bye-bye.